Yeah, we're going to start this thing talking about the Olympics. It's just going to happen. Appreciate Rob for hooking me up yesterday while I was down for the count. He was down goes Russell. Down goes Russell. And now back up and rolling. The Olympics are what the Olympics are. It's again, give them sport and they won't revolt. And by the way, no, the guy was not throwing up because of the contaminated river water. He was throwing up because he just did a triathlon. Which, like my doctor said, my doctor agreed on this. You could smoke a carton of cigarettes end to end, and it'd be better for your body than what those people do to their bodies in a triathlon.
For real.
Their body's just breaking down. And I got Rob into the shooting sports, and I'm very proud of him for this. So I like to watch the shooting sports on the Olympics. I like to watch the archery. I like to watch the air rifle, and the skeet shooting is this weekend, and is too much fun. If you want to be humbled. If you've ever shot clays, yes. Mike better than Rob isn't hungover. Were you supposed to be hungover, buddy?
No, I shared a stat yesterday that showcased who does a lot of the drinking in America.
Oh.
And 10%, the top 10% of drinkers in America, I'm going to see if I can find the slide here.
Are my kids?
Oh. No. If they're your kids, they're drinking 74 per week.
Good Lord.
So at the end of the show yesterday, since you weren't here, I said, well, Mike's not feeling great. I'm going to go try to see if I can get into this average here. So that's what Rhonda's comment is.
What in the world?
That's a lot of drinks.
Way.
It's 10 a day. That's almost 11 a day.
How are you doing that?
How are you alive? Yes.
Oh, my gosh.
Yep. Greg Meekin, you're exactly right.
Yeah. Amen, brother.
They hang out with Val, too. We had Val here yesterday also.
Oh, nice. Okay. All right. Dude, I missed a bunch. Okay. Wow. That is impressive. I'm impressed. I'm very impressed by that. Huh. Okay. Who's the guy, golfer? I'm thinking of his name. Hangs with Trump, big, just
DeChambeau? DeChambeau?
No. The guy, the older guy. Why am I having a trouble? Drinks. I think
John Daly.
Thank you. He drinks. I think he said something like he could do 40. He could do 40 in a day, like Coors Lights or whatever.
Like Wade Boggs is alleged drinking. The former Red Sox and Yankee. He has those stories where he drank 74 on a flight from Boston to L.A. or something.
But he said Trump sucks down Diet Cokes at the same pace. He said when Trump's just slurping them down, just constantly going. He said go and put like freaking a couple dozen down a day. Wow. Okay.
Not bad. Anyway. We have drinking champions in America. We always have.
But this guy is the champion right here. Look at this guy. Have you seen this guy? This guy is fantastic. He's every kind of Turkey. He's a Turkish air gun shooter. Look at this guy. He's got these little things. He bought those foam earplugs. He bought those on the way in at Walmart. He had to have. They just stopped at Walmart. He's like, oh, crap. They're not going to let me in there without ear protection. Here we go. And then look at the guy he's up against. Look at all the gear this guy has on him. Look at all the gear. But I want you to look over at the Turkish guy on the right. That is the last thing many people in Turkey have ever seen. That exact scene right there, because this guy has to be an assassin. He's got his hand in his pocket. He has a dirty shirt on, and he has no gear on at all. And he wins a silver medal. The guy wins, and watch when he's done shooting. Here's where the shot comes in, right here. Boom, dead center.
Oh,
and puts it down and just looks off. Yep. I win. You lose. You're dead. There's so many dead bodies in Turkey thanks to this dude, and he's now an Olympian. He's got a silver medal.
Silver Fox gets the silver medel at the Olympics. Look at that guy. What is the other guy wearing, Mike? The guy that is on my left.
These are magnification things, and
and that guy only has glasses on.
Yeah, has his glasses on.
Awesome.
He probably borrowed glasses because they needed eye protection and ear protection. He's like, "Here, kid, can I use your glasses? I need to go shoot in the dead middle of something." That's fantastic. That's why you have the Olympics, because of gems like that. Absolute gems.
He's going to live on internet history forever. Who's going to be, when you think of the Olympics, you think of this Turkish.
Okay, but did you see same sport? Did you see the female gold medalist?
I did.
Okay, because she looks like an assassin straight out of a Bond movie. Let's go ahead and let's just see if I can do this here. See if we can put this in. Let's go for it. There we go. Yeah, look at this one. You see her, you're
And
dead.
it's there. It's there. The world record has gone.
Yeah, if you see her, this is like, this
It was
is
there
main
for nearly
character
5
energy right
years
here.
until January
Look at this.
this year when
Yeah, she didn't even
Yang Yin came
World
along
record.
and broke the world
Yeah.
record with 41.
Yeah.
And now Kim Ye-ji from Republic of Korea is.
Yeah, there's a lot of dead people seeing that. The last thing they saw too. Holy mackerel. Okay, Lynn, fine. We can talk politics.
Wait, the other day he said he didn't want to talk politics.
Yeah, dude, you're confusing. Being confusing now. All right.
This is something, as we do this and grow this, Mike, interacting with you this way, this is awesome. It's so much fun to be able to do that with you guys because, it's something we couldn't do on the radio because we couldn't see you, right? Yeah. We didn't see you here. We didn't have a live comment chat. And it's funny because sometimes you guys say things that stick with me for like a couple of days.
Okay.
Like Rhonda the other day was like, wait, because I said something like, I like parts of what Kamala offers. She says, what do you like about Kamala? I've been thinking about that comment, Rhonda, for the last 48 hours.
You mean the Kamala that was hanging out with Montel? Is that what you're thinking? Yeah.
Well, I mean,
yeah, that's what he's like. That's what I like. Yes, easy on the eyes back in the day.
That's what making her look good right there, right? You're like, okay, all right, okay. So yeah, so I love that. So thank you guys for being participants in Russell and Hunter's The Bromance. And we always remind you, invite people in. Invite one person over the weekend. Say, hey, friend. We have a friend, Diva, who always calls us, hey, friend. Diva. She's amazing. She's amazing. So invite your friends in or share this out live and, invite people in with it because this is an evolving thing, right? I think that's what, Mike, you and I do really well is we evolve and we change our minds sometimes. And we disagree sometimes, like big bro, little bro.
We have to. I'm because if you will allow me, and please, so y'all know, because we don't hide anything from you. This is us. This is who we are. This is our real names. We're real people. We don't hide anything from y'all. I've had 2 brain surgeries, so there are some days where I just wake up with a ripping migraine, and I mean ripping migraine, like nauseous kind of stuff. And I called my boy, just sent you a text yesterday, just said, dude, I'm down. I am down. And he said, I got you. So I appreciate you hanging out with us, coming back and saying hi, because I got that thing taken care of, and we're good. Thank you, edibles. I didn't even know I had them. Is those genius ones? I didn't even know I was looking at them like, oh, I'm going to sleep. Like, yes, I'm going to sleep. So it's good. Anyway, but I really, really, really wanted to talk about, and I mean, really wanted to talk about Trump going over to the National Association of Black Journalists, into the lion's den, they say. And I think it's horrible. I think those groups are horrible. I'm going to be very clear about my view on even the Hispanic caucus, the Black caucus, the Asian caucus, the South Pacific Islander caucus, and this group of journalists and this group of people and this and that. Do you know where that comes from? Was it Russell? It's also our show. Darn right it is, man. That's right, Grizz. It's all of us, man. We're doing this together. We're rowing this boat all together. Anyway.
And we'll take that, Lynn. Oh, not that. Sorry, Greg. You jumped in right
there. No.
Well, we'll get that back to that in just a second.
Appreciate that, Lynn. Thank you very much.
All right.
So it was definitely to say.
Point.
Okay, I'm actually going to before I get to that, I don't think it was an unforced error at all. I think it was a fantastic move. I don't like this group of journalists based on their skin color. Where this started, and this is my belief, because the NABJ started in 1975. So 50 years ago is when it started. This was not started by just a group of Black journalists that think, we need to stick together. We need to protect our own, this, that, and the other thing. It came from a power structure that said, oh, no, yeah, we'll get rid of segregation. Don't worry about it. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to keep these clubs and these groups. So we're going to keep segregation going because we're more powerful when they are segregated. When we, the people, are segregated and we move into our own groups and we say things like a president showed up to the lion's den. What, Black people? What is that about? Like, it really, really eats at me because, and this is not one of those lazy, what if they had a National Association of White Journalists? No, I'm not saying that. I'm not talking about fairness. I'm talking about power structure taking advantage of people and promoting this segregated anything, whether it's a segregated employment field, whatever it is. And we talk about American unemployment. How many are the Black unemployment? How many Mexican? This is all of this is segregation. My thoughts there.
I think that's a winning message, Mike. I do, because I think that's a worthy conversation. Interestingly enough, I'm doing some cleaning last few days and cleaning out the office, and I have, a little snippet of Martin Luther King's letter from Birmingham jail that I found.
Okay.
And he talks about at the end how, big proponent of nonviolence, Martin Luther King, and that whole movement. But it wasn't trying to avoid tension. It was trying to cause tension on purpose to force a conversation. And I think, Mike, that's basically what you just suggested in a way. Is it is true that the power and the money structure purposely divides us because they make money off of it.
Yes.
And they exploit us and our emotions and our fears and our guilt and our shame. And they combine all of it so that Mark Zuckerberg can build a big bunker in Hawaii on land that he, what do they call it? Culturally appropriated or colonized?
Oh, yeah. Sure. Colonized. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But look, I really did not see anything that President Trump said that was off. And I don't think that reporter for ABC represents the majority of black voters. Not even close. They're not, there are no black people clutching their pearls and, and the whole line of questioning was a complete setup. And I applaud him for coming back at her like that and saying like, hey, by the way, does anyone here, anyone in the comments, anybody watching right now, if a president, I don't care which president it is. I don't care if it's Carter. I don't care if it's W. I don't care if it's Clinton. I don't care if it's Obama. I don't care if it's Biden. I don't care if it's Trump. If they walk into your house or your place of business, do you attack them like this right out of the gates, or do you show them some moniker of respect and say, Mr. President, thank you so much for being here. Oh my gosh, it's a wonderful being sitting here with you today. That is a level of respect that all the presidents have earned, whether they did a good job or not. They were the president of the damn United States. To be treated like this right out of the gates and attack lines like you've called district attorneys animals because they're black, that's insulting. No, they're coming at him like rabid animals. He didn't give a rat's what skin color they have. He wasn't calling them an animal. He was saying they're acting like animals and it had nothing to do with the color of their skin. It's that kind of garbage that made Trump look strong instead of, because if any, okay, how about, I'll throw this to you. Let's just stay with the black community. Rob, how many black men or women do you know that would get attacked like that would just sit and take it? None. So there's no one in the audience. Oh, he's losing the black vote. Oh, no, he's not. No, he's not. I'm telling you, the black people I know love this kind of just toughness, and they have that kind of toughness. There you go. That's what I needed to say about that, buddy.
Okay. And, what I said yesterday is the opposite side of that. I think if you combine what you said at the beginning.
I heard you, by the way, when I was dozing off. I did listen to you a little bit.
I would say this is where I'm going to go back to Dr. King for a second, where you create tension on purpose. So communication strategy, there's a concept that someone created called verbal judo. So it's like judo. Like if Mike's coming at me, I'm going to use his momentum against him, right? To stay in control. So this is what I thought about last night, because when Trump goes off the cuff and stays undisciplined, he's not helping himself convince 20,000 people in Arizona to vote for him. So from my standpoint of strategy and tactics, if Donald Trump is trying to win the election, he should do something like this. So what you said at the beginning, Mike, in the segregation, say, look, I understand why you're coming at me this way, because she's coming at it strong. So you go at it the opposite way. You take her energy and you make yourself look like the nicest human being in the world because you stand out even more. And if you go into, did you guys know that, and you look out at the audience, in 1964, when Lyndon Baines Johnson, a Democrat, signed the civil rights legislation, you know what he said? Repeat what he said without saying the word that he used, that I will have black people voting Democrat for 60 years. So you guys like to celebrate the Civil Rights Act, right? But I'm proving to you that it was all political theater. And look at the results the Democrat Party has brought to you in those 60 years. Because you're still complaining about all these things.
Sure.
And I think that's how you turn that argument into a winning argument. Because
if you're Ronald Reagan, yes. If you're Bill Clinton, yes. This is Donald John Trump. This man won because of this attitude. This man lost because of this attitude. And he's not going to change a thing. I'm dead serious.
and he might lose because of it.
And I'm telling you, this is when the pendulum swings back. You got to think about this, though. I mean, this is aside from the Black Journals meeting. The pendulum has swung so hard in the last 3.5 years, and I mean hard. It would be surprising just on you take out the personalities, just on Republican or Democrat alone, that the Dems would take that would have the White House. It would shock me because it swung so hard. And we've seen this. Rob and I've seen the pendulum swing both ways. Everybody's seen the pendulum swing both ways. We understand how the ebb and flow works in a Republican, basically the tug of war of power. It went way left. And again, that's what I've always said. The Democrats will overplay their hand. So it's interesting to me that this is the Kamala propaganda is working as well as it does.
Well, and the good news is this is just another one of Trump's comments and a long list of comments that the media has covered the same exact way. So the impact of it.
But what did he say that was wrong?
Well, I just said it's not a good strategy to say it that way. Okay. As I've said many times with Trump, the biggest flaw and the reason he can't get above 46% is because of his mouth, because he talks too much.
I like 45. 45 is the greatest number. I stay at 45 intentionally wrong.
Exactly right. Because the best communicators know when silence is a great option, know when to read the room and redirect energy and lean in. But Mike, you're right. Trump is Trump, and Trump's going to be Trump, and Trump's going to go down swinging as Trump, win, lose, or draw. I mean, that's the reality of it.
Headline would have been, had he done that. Major change in Trump campaign as Kamala has him running for the hills or has him scared and desperate. If he were to turn to the audience and do masterfully what Rob said there, that would have been, it would have been, the propaganda machine would have found some way to say he's afraid of Kamala. That's why he has to change. Trump doesn't change. Trump won't change. And I watched the interview. It was nauseating. But it really was. It was just so weak. And I mean, you called somebody something that can be construed as racist. What say you, and do you want to apologize? This kind of nonsense. Like it was weak. It was nauseating. And I just didn't see him do anything that wrong. I mean, he was just Trump. We get back to the beers. Now, wait, hold on. You getting back to this?
Well, but I think your point is this. What you're saying is exactly right. And this is why there's so many people on the high end of this scale, because of these political debates. All I want to do is to heck with it. Because you're exactly right, though. Everything is covered the same way and has been covered the same way for the last 9 years. So that's the ridiculousness, all of it. What are you wowing? I see you looking at.
I'm looking at your chart.
Yes. So for those listening on the podcast, again, you can watch us live at noon Arizona time if you're available. But we have a slide on the screen that's top 10% of alcohol drinkers in the U.S. consume 74 drinks per day. So that's
per week.
So 70 per day. Jeez. Greg, I saw Greg said his record was like 30 pints in a day. That's a lot of beer.
I could do that. Let's go.
Ooh, man.
No, I drank way too much the other night. I think it was Sunday. No, it was Monday. Yeah, I drank too much on Monday.
Yeah, it happens.
I did.
It happens.
And it's one of those nights where you just don't know where it came from. You're like, why in the world am I am I falling down? What happened? I have a bruise on my knee. I'm like, what the hell is this?
I did that when my dad, brother, and I drove from Maine to Arizona last summer. We stopped in Nashville, and I don't know, the party kept going. And I was not pleasant on the next drive of Nashville to Fort Smith, Arkansas the next day.
So bad. It was so bad. Yeah. Speaking of bad, let's get into this if we could. I want to revisit one thing back to the Olympics if we could real quick. I think it's great that there are 2 biological male boxers in female boxing. I think it is wonderful that this is happening. Yes, you heard that right. I think it is a good thing because finally the people like Rashida Tlaib and all these bozos in the squad, they're thinking that it doesn't happen. No, boys aren't beating up on girls. No, this is just and they gut Title IX and think that there's no problem in that. This is happening in a world stage. This is happening before the entire world right now. This isn't just some story about some volleyball player that got knocked in the head by a bio male or a team forfeiting at halftime because their players kept getting hurt because there's a biological male on the other team. This is a world stage. This is the biggest world stage we have in the Olympics. And I think it is it's great that everybody gets to see how stupid it is to allow biological males to fight females.
Can't unsee it.
Yeah.
Now,
and it's good also, that it's being seen.
Well, I think there's another point here too, and we talked a little bit about this yesterday. So that being said, that means we don't have to pile on. We don't have to say hateful comments. We don't have to be mean. Just let it be, because the impact is the impact. Although there's now some weird questions about that Olympic story, about at least the Algerian one. Algeria's passport, birth certificate in Algeria apparently is female, but tested for, got the XY blood test.
Yeah, it's called, I have it here. I have it here. It's not sure. She was born female, but has a disorder called disorder of sex development, is DSD, that results in XY chromosomes and testosterone levels similar to that of a male. Yeah, a male. That XY, you're male. Lo Santo, gang. That's what it is. That's not a condition. Anyway, not a condition. That is a man. That is a XY chromosome and testosterone. That's a man.
Well, and all I'm going to say is I don't know the truth because I don't know anything other than what I've seen online. What I'm just going to add is that this is from a Russian test, as this boxer was about to go against a Russian. This is a person who was boxed in female boxing events before, this Algerian person. Again,
there's Chinese dude too.
Well, and that's it. I think Korean. Wasn't it Korean?
I don't know.
Whatever it was. Maybe you might be right. I just saw that.
Maybe, yeah.
All I'm going to say is I learned a very important lesson yesterday, because I talked about that I didn't quite know the full story because I didn't do my own research. So for me, Mike, there is a lesson in this, in patience, in pausing, in not rushing to slam someone or an organization quite yet. Because again, it goes back to Mike's brilliant point. The results are the results. You can't unsee it.
Hold on, Errol. We hope your boss doesn't bust you too. Yeah. These fools come on. That's right. It's how we do it every day at noon. But I am glad that the world is getting to see it. And I do appreciate Rob's comment there that just calm down. It's everybody's seeing it. You don't have to point at it. Everyone's seeing it. You know what I mean? It's like that person at the grocery store where you want to make comments, but you have head thoughts. Everybody's seen it. It's okay. Everybody sees it. It's okay.
Head thoughts. I love that. That's a good term that you've brought into the Russell and Hunter Brewman space. Yes. Hi, Val.
What's up, Val?
We just wanted to point out it's like having an international airport in Montana. That's us, Russell and Hunter International. We go to Canada.
Worldwide. Rob and Mike, worldwide. Yeah,
worldwide, baby. Thanks to you guys.
Speaking of worldwide, let's get into this this prisoner swap that we don't know anything about. We really don't have any details. I'm sure you caught El Presidente being asked about it and saying that that Donald Trump would have gotten those hostages released without giving anything up. He said he should have done it while he was president. And we all know that he wasn't president when these were taken. Biden was president when these. He's done. What was given for this photo op, and what really ticked me off about this was just for the gram. This is the high stakes international terrorist version of for the gram. Did you see them getting off of they had to get off one at a time, 5 minutes apart, so they could have the photo op.
But that also might be because of Biden's memory, because they didn't want him to get confused about who was who. So they probably said, okay, Joe, the guy from the Wall Street Journal, the reporter, is going to come down first. His name is Evan, Wall Street Journal reporter.
Yeah. He's like, is that my plane? Dumbest thing I've ever seen. Okay, if you didn't see it, here it is. Just here it is. He is literally getting onto a plane that is not his, an empty plane. They don't know what to do. They have no idea what to do. The reporters are freaking out right now. They have no idea what to do. He's in there for like 4 minutes, and they have to drag him out. He didn't even know he's on the wrong plane. Okay.
Where's my bedroom? not in here.
Yeah. This isn't my plane. Hey, this isn't my.
Know what to do either.
She does. She's like, this is so bad or
Take
so
command, Kamala. You're running to be the commander-in-chief. Take command. There's a
Don't
moment.
want to embarrass Grandpa. Don't want to embarrass Grandpa. Mm-hmm. I do too.
Close the door. So she should have run up, close it like 25th Amendment. I'm in.
Yeah. She's like, come on.
She'd have probably earned a lot of votes that way if she did do that.
Do you want to swear me in now? Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's it. So, and it is sad. It truly is. And it really is. This is elder abuse. This is what it is. He even said last night, he said to a reporter, he's like, y'all, I'm still president. Y'all you can't get rid of me right now. I'm still president for another 100 days or something like that is what he said.
He said 90, I think. And I'm
yeah,
like, no, that's not the math. 90 days to the election. I mean, give or take, but not till the end of your term. There's another couple months left. It is elder abuse in every way. But here's Kamala off script. Here we go.
This is an extraordinary testament to the importance of having a president who understands the power of diplomacy. And
look at him, please. Just look at him. Look at him right now. He's the puppet. He's the Dunham puppet. Is exactly what he is. Right there. Look at him.
Understands the strength that rests in understanding the significance of diplomacy and strengthening alliances. This is an incredible day.
It's a beautiful, incredible day. It's an incredible day for a word salad. One more time.
This
Sorry,
is just an extraordinary testament to the importance of having a president who understands the power of diplomacy and understands the strength that rests in understanding the significance of diplomacy and strengthening alliances. It's
significance of the passing of time. Remember that one? The significance and the passing of time and the significance of the passing of time. Holy cow.
Unburdened by what? Something.
Some Marxist thing that she's saying. It's just absolute silliness. Mao Zedong said the same stuff, by the way. Same stuff. Get rid of the force.
Here's the thing.
The four olds.
There's two different Kamalas. There is confident behind a teleprompter Kamala, and then there's that Kamala. So I keep seeing all these complaints on Twitter. Oh my God, Kamala's this. I'm like, yeah, it's called strategy. You avoid moments like this when you're not good at them. Trump's job now is to highlight these. So I thought about this last night. A way for Trump to win the debate against Kamala. Because I think here's the big thing about Kamala. I'm very not confident of her making a really tough decision. Are you guys confident in Kamala?
Not one little tiny bit.
So let's go to the Soleimani decision that Trump's did, right?
Okay.
I think Trump at the debates should just simply state the case this way. I got a call from DOD, CIA, whatever it was. And they said, we've got Soleimani. We know where he is. Soleimani is an Iranian general who's funneled weapons into Afghanistan and probably Iraq and killed American forces. I've been looking for this guy for a long time. Had the government look for him. They found him. I had to make a decision on whether or not to take that guy out. Put her in that situation. First, would she even be aware of Soleimani's existence? Two, would she have the gall to say, find him, and if you find him alone, we're going to kill him?
Headline, Trump insults black woman.
But makes the case, and it goes viral, and everybody sees it around the media. Here's another interesting fact I learned yesterday. Every once in a while, you see cable news companies get average age comes out. You want to take a guess? The average age, let's start with CNN. Mike, I'll have you guess. And Lynn, Rhonda, Grizz, Arrow, you guys can guess along too. CNN, the average age of a viewer of CNN is blank.
57.
57. Okay. Anybody want to type in an answer?
67? Your tone suggested it was 67.
67 is exactly right.
Okay.
Let's go to Fox News next.
Okay.
Average age of a Fox News viewer.
65.
65. Okay. And we'll just throw in MSNBC and I'll tell you both so everybody gets a chance to answer. MSNBC, average age of viewership.
45.
45. Okay. So Mike thinks younger, more progressive. Fox News, me and 65 retirees. We've nailed CNN at 67 years old. Rhonda says 80. Nate, 42 for MSNBC. 60 for Fox News. Lynn says 59 for Fox News. Here's the actual number. The average age of a viewer watching Fox News is 69.
Okay.
And MSNBC,
Giggity.
oldest of all, 70.
70?
It's like a bunch of Elizabeth Warrens sitting down watching MSNBC and Rachel Maddow.
Ooh, wow.
Rhonda nailed it right under the buzzer there.
Look at that, right? Holy man, 70.
70. You don't care about cable news. Cable news is not relevant. Young people do not watch cable news. They watch TikTok.
But they're watching MSNBC clips on TikTok.
That's it.
See? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cable news is toast. It just is. Sorry, y'all. They jumped the shark a long time ago. Just like Shark Week. Did you know Shark Week we passed up Shark Week?
It seems like Shark Weeks, every time I look up, it's Discovery Show. I'm like, how many Shark Weeks are there? Or did I just miss an entire year of my life between Shark Weeks?
It's Shark Fest on the other one. On NABJ Shark Fest.
Oh, that
and
might
they actually have, but they actually have shows about sharks and not Shaq trying to water ski around sharks or something stupid like that. It's the dumbest things ever. Really the dumbest things ever.
We love celebrity and we need programming. So we will just use Shaq and Snoop until we can't use them anymore.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Snoop is winning the Olympics. Snoop is actually the Olympic mascot at this point. And I am mad at that. Not mad at that one little tiny bit. And apparently Tom Cruise is now going to make an appearance. Tom Cruise is going to skydive into the closing ceremonies. Where does this fit? Anything. Okay, why not? Did they throw crap into a hat and said, let's Tom Cruise skydiving? I'll get him on the horn, see if he wants to do it, see what's coming to Paris.
Well, they probably have a bunch of TV executives whiteboarding. What will people watch on TV? Tom Cruise. People love Tom Cruise. What can we get Tom Cruise to do? Tom Cruise, the last movie star. He's Maverick. Let's get him to jump out of a plane. Okay, Tom Cruise, what do you do? I'll do it.
Yeah.
While promoting my next Mission Impossible movie.
I think that's it. That has to be it. It's going to be some sort of nonsense. Let's talk about guns because let's talk about our Second Amendment rights. Can we talk about that? Everybody go with that?
Let's do it.
Rob has had this on our show sheet for quite a while, and we do again. I understand sometimes you don't feel like it, but we actually do prepare for the show. The headline was Trump campaign's gun owner database, a controversial revelation. No, it's not. What happened is the Trump campaign had a database in the 2016 election of firearm owners and how many firearms they own, what kind they would do if they're involved in this and that and this and that. Yeah. Yeah. And he did that so he could market to firearm owners. So he could market to Second Amendment supporters. This is not controversial one little tiny bit, but people, I think the snag is there's going to be a gun registry, right? How can you be against a firearm registry if you use that for your campaign, Mr. Trump? Is that kind of the crux of it?
Of course. It's always a hypocritical argument that everybody tries to make, but of course, both sides are hypocrites in so many ways. But this isn't it because this is marketing. This, to me, is more of a realization as to what everybody knows about you. What campaigns know about you, what Safeway knows about you, what Facebook knows about you, what Google knows about you. Google knows the most about you. They know more about you than you know about you.
I think Nielsen's up there. I think Nielsen's up there with
probably
because if y'all Nielsen the ratings, do the ratings, TV ratings, radio ratings, Nielsen. Nielsen's big business, and correct me if I'm wrong, Rob. I'm pretty sure this is accurate. They're big business now. They don't give rat's ass about ratings. They know everything's moved to social anyway. Those little things you have on your keychain where you scan them at the little discount card at Fry's, at Safeway, at Bash's. Here we go. I'm a member of the crew. Or you put in your phone number. That's the company that's collecting all of that data. What you bought, when you bought it, where it was on the shelf, what color it was, how long it's been sitting on they give stats and analytics that know everything about your consumption habits. That's why every time I buy booze, I use my mom's number.
Nice.
I know. See, they don't know. They don't know that I'm that top 10%.
Damn right. It's spread out across multiple accounts. But I think that this is a realization for you, for all of us. All of these things are ways to manipulate you. Greg just put in the chat on Facebook that Trump's a marketing animal. He asked Greg for money 10 times a day. I'm on the Joe Biden text chain, which is now Kamala's text chain, which is, again, playing into Kamala's strength. She didn't have to build her own campaign. She inherited one that's already working. They do it it's like 3 or 4 times a day. I'm like, my goodness, it's absolutely bonkers. But they always try to manipulate you. So just watch your marketing and how it works.
Yeah.
The Democrats in Kamala's campaign, going back to Biden's campaign, is usually around being scared of Trump. End of democracy, right? Tapping into that fear. Trump is going to do that on the opposite because he has so much data on you. And his campaign is going to look and say, oh, they're scared of people taking away their guns. So here's our gun people that we can go market to and say that Kamala is going to take half of their storage amount of ammo or guns or whatever. Give me money and I'll stop it. So my point is just be aware that everybody has all of these different buttons they can press on you, which is why you do drunk Amazon shopping, especially if you're in that top 10% drinking 11 drinks a day.
I love it. It's this thing, like I get a package coming to my door. I'm like, I have no idea what I bought. I have no idea what I bought. I'm like, who didn't need a 50-foot inflatable alligator? Who didn't need that? We all need that. Actually, I did see something really cool the other day. Was the raft for the pool that looks like the door from Titanic that she was all cushy and comfy on while Jack died of a horrible frozen death. Yeah, they have a raft shaped like the door so you can land. It's fantastic.
Awesome.
Fantastic thing. Yes. It is the best surprise of the week, Brendan. It totally is. So, but anyway, let's go back to the guns. And I did see that, Linda. Kyle Rittenhouse is not going to vote for Trump now. Kyle Rittenhouse, that's actually good for the Trump campaign. Kyle Rittenhouse is a little punk, and Kyle Rittenhouse is a bad look for any campaign. And on top of that, the reason why he's not voting is that the organization it's something like Texas Gun something that is paying his way, essentially, is keeping him in the limelight or keeping his bills paid, is owned by probably the biggest anti-Trump guy there is in Texas. So Kyle Rittenhouse is just going the way of the dough, and that's it. So and by the way, who cares if Kyle Rittenhouse wanted to promote Russell and Hunter? I wouldn't be. He's not on our brand.
Yeah, and I just think Kyle Rittenhouse is what, 22?
I don't know.
He's been around certain people starting at the age of 17 since he went to that rally, right? He's very impressionable. Yeah. Okay. My point is he's very impressionable. He went through something very traumatic at a young age, was thrust into a national spotlight. Half of the respondents love him. Half of them hate him. That's a lot for anyone to go through, let alone a 17-year-old. So I just try to appreciate what he's been through and what he's experienced and how he's being influenced.
Yeah.
Do not hate him because he's made his decision for what he thinks is the best for him right now. And it might be because of Mike's reason. It might be because of various other factors, but he's a young kid.
He says because Trump and the bump stocks. That's what it really was. That actually sounds like a band. I got dibs on that band name. Trump and the bump stocks.
He's taking pro-gun position. But again, what's your alternate? Are you saying you're voting for Kamala Harris?
No, he's writing in Ron Paul.
He's writing in Ron Paul. Okay, that's going to get you far.
That's okay. Well, kid's a kid, and he's just whatever.
Well, he doesn't know anything about Ron Paul. He's 21, so he's being influenced.
No, I know. Yeah. Maybe we can get him to write us in. But Kyle Rittenhouse, again, he's a bad look for a campaign, so just stay out of it. If he's saying he's not voting for Trump, fantastic, wonderful. The Trump wins in that, and then having that guy out of it, because he might just be a complete bozo, like I think he is. I get that vibe from the guy. He's kind of squirmy, and or he's just 21, like Rob said, and he's young and dumb, and just kind of going the way of the dough. Yeah. Apparently, the guy had a lot of bills. They had a lot of things. I don't.
It's expensive to defend yourself in America. To get a good lawyer, so you don't end up in jail for some serious offense like murder. Yeah, that had to be 6 figures easy.
Yeah. Oh, I know he didn't get shot. Okay, so hold on, Greg. I think we're gonna go. I think putting Rittenhouse in Wyatt Earp kind of boots. Come on, man. No, he is not. Okay, he might grow into maybe grow into those boots one day, but he is not he's not a reluctant leader by any stretch. He's doing commercials for a shooting range, essentially, is what that. There's really no leader in that. So anyway, and now that he's swept Trump to the side, he doesn't have a platform really. He wanted to have a platform and be a reluctant leader and be a voice, be the anti-David Hogg. If you wanted to be that, okay, cool. Then jump on the Trump train. Have that voice. He didn't. He got his picture with Trump. That's about it. Yeah. Sticking with guns, Kamala's coming for him. Kamala is all about. She is all about the buyback program. She said it in her little speechifying when she had, she had her moment in the sun, her little limelight moment there, and she talked about gun. She's going to get red flag laws. Let me see. Let's go here.
And you all helped us win
Oh
in
no, sorry, that isn't the 2024. No, that's sorry, my bad. That's Kamala culturally appropriating. But anyway, there's several things. Gun buyback program is her deal. So she wants red flag laws passed. She wants universal background checks. By the way, no one knows what universal background checks means. 10 people have 10 different answers. And then she wants a assault weapon ban, which Rob knows that there's no such thing as an assault weapon. She wants an AR-15 ban with a mandatory buyback. That's exactly why she didn't pick Mark Kelly as a running mate. That's why Mark Kelly's not in, because it would be an anti-Second Amendment ticket, and America ain't ready for that.
No. And look, I always look at political promises as very unlikely to happen anyways, but it's her values that don't line up with so many people in this country, right? Kamala's values don't line up because that's her value. Her value is we need to talk about assault weapons ban like it's the 90s, because they did it in the 90s for 10 years, 94 to 2004. Same, because the reality is most crime doesn't happen with an assault weapon, but it sounds good. Yeah, was it 1%? Is that what you said? Yeah,
1% is ARs, AKs. Yeah,
exactly. And that number is
modern sporting rifles.
Modern sporting rifles. And that number is probably elevated because it's used in many shootings, right? It's the go-to weapon of firearm of choice in those scenarios, which bumps up those numbers. So it sounds good. It makes people feel good. It's why it's very interesting and who you vote for Senate, because if Kamala wins, Democrats get Senate, Democrats get House, they could do it. They could pass an assault rifle ban. So that is one of the potential consequences of an election.
But again, it's playing to I'm not going to say stupidity. The uninformed. How about that? That actually thinks that the modern sporting rifle is what's causing gun violence in this country. It's not. Less than 1% ARs and AKs are used. It's mostly handguns. So if you're going to make any kind of a play, and Val, you're right, this is going straight to the Canadian type of deal. But it is. If you're going to think you're going to make a mark, then do that and get rid of handguns. But there's no way in hell that's going to happen. Mm-hmm.
So Truman, yes, she would use. This is Truman's comment on Facebook. My and our tax dollars to steal our weapons. Fantastic.
No, it makes total sense. And in terms of the firearms, we're just going to stick with firearms as best we can, because it's not a weapon. It's not a weapon until it's used as one. It's a firearm. So that kind of plays into their. Rob always says this, language is contagious. This is a whole weapons thing. Very good friend of mine in the conservation and hunting world says weapons all the time. He says, how many weapons are we going to have in the auction? How many weapons are we going to make? Whoa. Settle down. It's guns, firearms. But that's the thing. The buyback is what pisses me off every time. When was it yours? I didn't buy it from you. How are you buying that back? That's this overarching ideal that these bozos in DC have, that everything that we have once belonged to them. They allow us to have firearms. They allow us to have an AR. They will allow us to do that. If not, it's going to be a mandatory buyback. And going back to the Trump database that he had with firearm owners, the Trump database is nothing new. One, two. If you think that the government doesn't know how many firearms I have, you're kidding yourself. They got a pretty solid idea. They know the serial number. Everything gets sent in with that background check. They know exactly what firearms I have if I bought it from a firearm store. The registry is already there. It's just not called a registry. I mean, the guns that Rob and I have bought private sale, they don't know about those, but they know about all three of my ARs.
They will if they looked into it. It's a pretty easy paper trail to find because you have to have it. Well, and look, this is a long-term plan. So what the Democrats have done, and again, you got to notice the subtle signs and the subtle shifts. The Democrats are playing a long game here. Their long-term goal is to be able to at least chisel away, if not completely get rid of the Second Amendment. It's their dream, much like it was conservatives' dream to overturn Roe versus Wade. So in the 80s, the Republicans started to do it. Conservative movement built up. They started finding states like Mississippi where they could really start attacking abortion as a right, because you have a Republican legislature. You can chip away at it, work its way through the courts. 40 years later, you win. This is what the Democrats are doing. We mentioned the state of Illinois already has a assault rifle ban. That is meant to test in court. It's meant to test in court. It's meant to build public support. So you see the subtle shift in the language. And even Gavin Newsom is promoting on X, he paid for ads, a constitutional amendment geared towards freedom from gun violence. So they're using the word freedom and freedom from gun violence. And in order to have freedom from gun violence, we have to have quote unquote universal background checks, except for the laundry list that Democrats have been talking about for 20 years.
The universal background checks. I mean, basically what they're saying is they think that that all gun owners, that if I sell Rob my gun, that there's some nefarious intent in any of that, and that's the messaging that is there's nefarious intent. No, Rob just likes my gun. I needed the cash because I wanted to buy another gun. That's really all it is. I'm upgrading. I've got 2 of these, so I sell one to Rob so I can go get something else. That's no, there's no nefarious intent. But I mean, it's the same as banning sober driving to stop DUI deaths. You don't punish the people that are acting accordingly and acting law abiding. You don't punish them, especially to make criminals the only boneheads holding firearms. It's not the way it works. If you want to check my math, go ahead and just look in Venezuela.
Well, yeah, I mean that
reform the Supreme Court, take away guns. That's when, there you go. Those are the first 2 steps.
Well, and it's all about making it favorable for your power structure to get what it wants. And, that's all part of it. It's not designed to happen tomorrow, because the fears of communism and Kamala and Marxism or whatever, she can't implement that on her own. But it's going to be.
Neither can Trump.
No. Well, exactly my point. But we love the scare tactics on both sides, when the reality is we're going to vote ourselves to death in America. We're going to vote to continue the spending, and that's going to cause anemic economic growth because we owe so much money. We're eventually going to vote ourselves away from our constitutional guaranteed rights, because that's what humans always do. There's always a fear safety structure, no matter how safe our lives really are. Yes, crime rates are up, but not where you live, not where you're at. It happens, right? Crime always happens. But you're not going to go to those neighborhoods primarily where crime is. So do you really need to spend time being fearful of crime in your neighborhood?
They stole the caps off my truck in my driveway.
However, the
criminal element in G-Town.
Yeah, I used to do that in Hanson, Mass.
You stole caps?
Oh, man, it was the coolest thing ever. I did, I was 8.
Senator Castillo, ne'er-do-well little kids.
Now I have some.
Get off my lawn while you're out there.
Yeah, that's all I'm getting at.
Damn it!
Got to play the long game here. We got
okay. So here's the long game. I want to tell you, because you did bring up the communism word here. So I want to check this out. This is something I was talking to Rob about earlier in the week. In 1963, January 10th to be exact, a list of 45 communist goals were read into the congressional record. So this was back in 1963. That's a hot minute ago. So let's see how the long game has worked out for those that were trying to institute communism here in America. Permit trade between all nations regardless of communist affiliation. Check. Grant recognition to China. Thanks, Joe Biden. Check. Capture one or both of the political parties in the U.S. Check. Infiltrate the press. Check. This was in 1963, and this was just basically describing today. It's basically the 1984, but read into the congressional record. Discredit the American founding fathers. Belittle all forms of American culture and discourage the teaching of American history. It goes on and on and on. So this was 1963, and talking about the long game that Rob was talking about. That's it right there. Just step by step, piece by piece, brick by brick, and you got it when you get it.
And you notice the communication, right? Because our beliefs are formed around communication. So, if, for example, if you went to church when you were a kid and you listened and you absorbed that, it may still be your belief system to this day because you've been around that language, you've been around that system of belief. There's a higher power. This is my job to be as good a moral citizen as I can based on these values and rules and principles. But maybe you're like me. You went to Catholic church, you didn't pay attention, so you didn't inherit those beliefs. And it was easy for me to be able to break away from those beliefs when the priests were getting caught abusing boys. Whereas if you're inside that belief system and it's so much part of you, regardless of the immoral thing that happened and the church hid, you stay with it because it's how information works, right? We're still talking about America the same way that we were 100 years ago. America is the land of the free, home of the brave, the American dream. It doesn't resonate with young people because they've heard a completely different message. They've heard about how awful and sinful America has been since its inception. So they don't want to reform it. They want to tear it down. So for us to counter the message that Mike was talking about with the communism goals, we have to reestablish what our American ideals are, that it's about forward momentum, getting better, a more prosperous life for everybody, more freedoms for everybody. Because that message, I think, would start to resonate with the people in the younger generations that understand their bitching and moaning isn't getting them anywhere.
True. I was looking at. I was trying to find out who read it into the record. I actually have it pulled up from Congress.gov right here. I don't think it gives me who actually read it into the record. So that was Lynn's question. I was trying to find it.
Yeah. But, it's the story of man in so many ways, going back to language is contagious, Mike, that you brought up. It is. And, if you have nothing to compare it to, this is why the Brittany Griner story last week of her saying the national anthem and playing for America is everything to her now. This is a woman who went to prison in Russia. And when she went over to Russia to play basketball, she didn't really like this country. She believed it was racist because that's the information she's been around, that she's received, that she's been taught. All of a sudden, she has this experience about what Russia is. And she's like, holy moly, I have it great in America. Young people, 30 and below, have been born in the most advanced technological society ever known to man. And they think their lives are hard. Try being born 100 years ago. Compare it to now. Try being born in China right now. Try being born in Tanzania and try to do the same things that you can do in America. You can't, but there's no frame of reference there because they've only been fed a certain amount of information for the first 20 years of their lives.
Did you see, speaking of born in China, did you see those divers?
Yeah, that was the
dumbest thing I've ever seen. That blew my mind. The synchronized diving, that absolutely blew my mind. That was,
I thought it was one person.
Perfection.
Yeah.
Wow.
Insane.
Yeah.
I pulled that video because it was.
They're actually, those people are diving for their life. They're competing for their lives. Here, U.S. we're competing for Wheaties boxes. They're competing for their lives. Straight up. Yeah. Yeah. I kind of take exception to except maybe Grizz. I don't know. I think Grizz and I are on par intellectually. So yes.
I think we're all on par intellectually.
No, I think we are, man.
And that's what Greg is saying in the chat is that we have a sharp group. So if you're listening on the podcast, get to us live if you can, noon, Monday through Friday, because you'll get to chime in and we'll see your comments and maybe even put it on the screen. But you got to bring your A game. You got to bring the A game.
You do have to bring the A game. You do. So, Rob, you had this this gentleman on. You said you didn't edit it. Do we want to get into this?
Well, it's really about the Kamala comments and the Trump. His point is essentially this, and this is a guy that's on TikTok, does pretty well. He's saying another hugely missed opportunity by the National Association of Black Journalists and Association of Trump, because of going back to the beginning, what you said, Mike. They came on the attack. Instead of trying to ask Trump what his policies are for Black Americans.
Yes.
So it became a worthless endeavor rather than something that could inform the public as to what a presidential candidate on the Republican side would put in place for Black communities. But nope,
had the chance.
we didn't get that.
Even had Harris Faulkner batting cleanup, and that still didn't happen.
Yep. But Mike's right. I mean, as much as I think Trump deserves to be criticized for that, the National Association of Black Journalists and their representatives who ask those questions also deserve to be criticized.
And Kamala is a DEI hire, period. I don't know how you could go through all of the press leading up to him choosing her as a vice president candidate, or the DNC choosing her as a VP candidate, and not say, yes, this woman was chosen because of her gender and skin color.
But
period.
Here's what I would say. Again, this is the big folly of it all. We all see it already. We don't have to point it out. It's just like what the Democrats did with Justice Jackson, Ketanji Brown Jackson, the first female Black Supreme Court justice. They told us the obvious, what we can already see, instead of telling us what her qualifications are. So the Democrats on this issue, if you go back and you look at the language, have backed themselves in a corner because they didn't build up Kamala based on her abilities. They didn't compliment her based on her abilities. That's the real fallacy of it all. The same thing with Judge Jackson, because the Democrats chose to define those candidates by those words because it makes the white guys that pick them look good. That's the biggest ruse of them all. Who benefits from saying he's hiring a Black vice president? White guy Joe Biden. Who benefits from saying he's putting the first Black female on the Supreme Court? Joe Biden. Joe Biden is doing this for Joe Biden, not because of anything else, because Justice Jackson, clearly qualified to do that job. He's got all the right educational prerequisites, has been on the right courts, perfectly qualified. Whether you agree with the choice or not, she's too liberal, whatever the case may be, she's qualified for it. Kamala, you can make the case, is qualified for the position of vice president, but that's not the case that they made. So to your point, Mike, I think that the reality is the Democrats created this monster. And I think that for Republicans, you don't need to talk about it. I think you need to point out whether or not you trust Kamala to make those important decisions about whether or not to bomb a bad guy or stop Israel or from killing civilians or stop Hamas from attacking Israel. You think she's the right person for that job? You vote for her then.
But there is one person, there is one human that if there is a problem, he'll solve it. So I think that ending the week with Vanilla Ice is very appropriate because I've never heard former artist. I don't know if he's still artist former. I think he's got a DIY TV show or Fix It Flip.
He did have one
TV show, for a minute there. But this is just Ice being Ice.
To Ice Ice Baby the other day, and I was like, man, this seems like it could be a hit today almost as well. What sort of impact do you think you've had on the entire genre of hip hop?
Oh my God, I've never been asked that question. I don't know, man. I just, the song took on a life of its own, and it's an anthem for the 90s, and every time I hear it, I even, it never gets old. So I just instantly want to go back to the 90s,
Yes,
give me
there
my
you go.
Blockbuster video again. Give me Beavis and Butthead again, and let's go back to the, before computers ruined the world. Let's, and that's kind of the last of the great decades, the 90s, and that's it, computers with the smartphones and everything. I'll even take my flip phone, man. I'll just,
Your old soul.
You gotta be, man. Look at the world today. I mean, even the people that weren't born in the 90s, they know how great it was, They want to go back and relive it.
So do you think you did have an impact in some way on the industry and
I
what
leave it
came
up
next?
for my fans. I leave it up for you guys to decide that. I don't have an ego. I lost it a long time ago. I just have fun with life, man.
I love this, man.
Ice Ice Baby get you dancing, and I think you're a lot happier when you're dancing.
Where's the last question? I'll leave you alone. Where's the strangest place you've heard that song come on? It comes on everywhere.
Oh man, God! I mean, I've been at a place in Turkey, Rixos Resort in Antalya, Turkey, and of all places, they're jamming out to it, and it's a Russian resort in Turkey. And I'm like, man, and nobody speaks English, and I'm running around on segways, and I'm like, everybody's Ice Ice Baby. I'm like, what?
Do they recognize?
This guy is us, man. That's a damn good way to just end the week. He's like, let's go back to the 90s, guys. This was crazy. Computers jacked us all up, the smartphones, the social media, and all that. Give me my flip phone and let me go back to the 90s and just do my thing. Beavis and Butthead, and just be me. Just proud of that guy.
But I think that his important point is, what do you attach your own identity to? What positions do you hold? What political party? What political candidate? Because I learned something about, like, very much what Ice is talking about there. When the New England Patriots lost that perfect Super Bowl, I was emotionally invested in that team. It was like devastating when your team goes that far and has this chance of perfection. But eventually what I realized about that, Mike, is I had way too much of my emotional investment, my identity in being a Patriots fan. Kind of like you do with being a Dodger fan, right? You go up, you go down.
Come on now. You know, I've been cured. I do watch every game I can, but I'm not, it's just whatever.
But that's it, right? You have to become okay with what happens that you can't control. And even if you mess something up, like yesterday, I was like, I think I missed some of the parts of that Olympic boxer story, but I didn't know. And I was like, okay, this is another important lesson to not overly react to something you see without doing more research. Because my identity isn't on either side of that debate, because that debate is not really prevalent in my real life. So I don't actually have to confront the issue, deal with the issue. You know, you guys might if you have kids or someone in your family. So I can just look at that issue as is. Sometimes.
Hold on, there's blasphemy going on in a second. Ron said that Ren and Stimpy were better than Beavis and Butthead?
I can't comment. I never watched Ren and Stimpy.
Ouch. Funny, but come on. Beavis and Butthead's movie, I didn't see the last one. The Beavis and Butthead Do America's what
the newest one
like Siskel and Ebert. Like if Rotten Tomatoes was the thing back then, it would be 90 plus. I mean, it was critically acclaimed. And then hold on, Zeke. Being a Dodgers fan is like pouring a bowl of cereal and finding out there's no milk in the fridge. He's not wrong. Not wrong at all. That might be the most accurate thing I've read all day. Yes. Oh, man.
Now the question, what would you do in that scenario? Would you put the cereal back in the box and say, screw it, I'm not eating it? Would you eat it dry, or would you go to the store, get some milk, and eat that cereal?
I'd eat it dry or go get milk, and I'd be complaining the entire way, just like I complain every October as a Dodger fan. Damn it! Again! The highest payroll in the galaxy, and we can't bring one home. Jeez.
For real.
I've been singing Happy, Happy, Joy, Joy ever since I saw Ren and Stimpy. It's happy, yes. Mm-hmm. And Beavis and Butthead is hilarious when you're drunk and high. So absolutely, 100%. I don't know what's not funny when you're high. You know?
Sometimes it's good to just really have those gut laughs. It just feels like it releases so much, and you're like, yes, this is great.
Yeah. All right. Hey guys, have a great weekend. This has been a lot of fun. This week's been a ton of fun. I got to take a day off. And Rob, I appreciate you letting me do it. Appreciate you guys letting me do that. And again, this is our show. I think we keep saying that over and over again. And Val's coming up at 3:00 somewhere. Val's going to be somewhere. We'll get that up there for you. Well, you guys check
on with Greg.
On with Greg. So you guys check that out at 3:00 on Facebook Live as well. I think that's our time, I would assume, Val, but that's it. Anyway, have fun this weekend. Just stay out of the damn heat. Hydrate, and we'll do this Monday. What do you think? Monday at noon, right here in Russell and Hunter. Have a great weekend, everybody. Robbie, thanks.